Hey, welcome back to the Sons of Saul development livestream. We last left our heroes. We had done saving and loading the campaign, including some of the enemy stats, which means able to kill them. We could go into a mission, save this here. The text just up the top will display that there's 100 enemies, or might not be 100 because I've been playing. Okay, it is 100 because we're on day 0, starts with 100. Go play a mission. Kill the 3 enemies, I guess. I think it's 3 in this one. Dead, kills 3, I don't know that. Quit out. That's actually calling for extraction, but it's so quick right now that it seems like quitting out. There you go, we're on day 2 now with 97 fighters because I killed 3 of these ones. Taking kills from the... We were working on this 2 episodes ago, wrote out this long kind of sentence about getting into a mission, saving the kills, making the kills matter, and we got that chunk of that sentence done the last day. And the last chunk of the sentence is increase that global number 97 there. If each day it's adding a number of fighters to, but that's a bit involved in creating zones, or well, bases, I guess, here on this map that are initially unknown, and when you cover them, then they light up, but the whole time they're creating extra fighters. There's a lot of aspects to that. But I've done a bit of prep work to get us closer. First off, one of the things I've done since then, haven't put the code anywhere useful, but I can. So the character script is our wingman at the moment, but any person you would look at, like portrait view, with or without a spacesuit. So their script at the moment, just on a wake at the moment. That's not where I want this, but wrote code to capture screenshot. So you specify a portion of the screen, turn it into a texture, and you can either then apply that, make a sprite out of it and apply that sprite to holds a sprite, so, or an image. So what we would do is have like the pilot portraits here and their name here, that's here, that kind of a thing. So that from that animated character we can actually just take a still. It also means we can capture screenshots randomly, or like at the time of killing a person or at the time of completing an objective, you can snap a screenshot of the mission, and then we can use that screenshot in the game to specifically to display in the pilot bar, just because that happened on a wake there. Saving screenshot into the resources folder called name. Got that part of the screen. Wasn't too specific about it, but here it is. It's just been created, snapped a bit of the screen. We can do whatever we want with that. You could share that, could be your high scores, or incomplete screen, or every idea I come up with, it seems like Xcom 2 gets there first. But like the photo booth idea I had first. The next Xcom 2 expansion had a photo booth. But the idea that when a pilot dies, you could snap 3 screenshots of how they died or something, along with their picture, and sort of make a GIF out of that. Lots of options about what. Oh yeah, specifically I want to put that in the pilot bar, like snap pictures of the last mission, put them up on this screen here. Add a bit of feedback loop is a bad thing. Well, I was trained in audio, so I think of a feedback loop as a very bad thing. Game design terms, feedback loop is good feedback loop. I don't want to save that right now. Comment that out and not. Folder as well. A lot of projects have a resources folder. At the moment, I don't. Probably will one. While I don't have anything in it, I'm just going to put it out. The other thing I've done since last time is Scriptable Object to save valid mission location. And we're going to work on that a bit. So last day I said mission locations, like this icon of the mission we can click on, we only had 2 and they haven't been moving or anything. And I said I could just set it to randomly appear within the circle, but then I could wind up with 2 overlapping. So I said I wanted to, quite boringly, just kind of select a load of places that are allowed to be mission locations. A predefined set of coordinates where you're allowed to place these icons, and then just pick one of them instead of putting it anywhere. That way I can be sure they won't. So I wrote a scriptable object. All it does is hold a list of holomap locations, and that's or holomap items, and that's a class with the location. This stuff I'm going to take out of it right now. So we're just looking at the location and a true or false for is it already occupied. A list of places. And then at the moment, whenever I click on the campaign screen, so this is not how we'll do it, but whenever I click this, it'll generate a new mission. The black is just a placeholder. Black. But it'll generate a new mission for every place that I have saved in here. Make a few more. Should see 6. I don't. They all appear to be at that Z depth, which now there'd be 6 missions. Yeah, had a bit of trouble getting this working. All right, they're off the screen, 2 of them. But yeah, it works. Now the way I actually want to set this, kind of just one time, although I'll probably wind up doing it again in future. Take this. Have another bit of code that will write the current valid locations thing, and that's what the black icon is. So it'll pick every child of this. Bunch of them. It'll pick all of those, and it'll wipe this first of all, but it'll replace with all of these children. Update scriptable, the valid locations for the scriptable in them now. None of them are occupied. Now if I delete all of these, so now we actually have no missions on the board to demonstrate to you that it will create 9. Great. So I don't want 9 missions. I wanted to generate 1 or maybe 2 missions in some of those 9 valid locations. But that's how it works. Undo deleting all. You can do that kind of quick now, and then we can tell it in the code is putting 1 mission in each place, but I can tell it to just choose a few. And when it's chosen one, it sets it to occupied, and when it's choosing the next one, it sets it to. It checks if the other one is occupied already, so it won't overlap any. You could also check for overlapping with colliders and stuff, but not positive that the colliders work in Canvas UI, not in sprites. Positive it works. But even then, you can't. You can detect if it is overlapping, but you couldn't put it to a great place. So seems you can add them. This is how we're going to do it. Put a bunch of places. Said it would be a bit boring to actually do the job, but I made the tools to make it quick. So six by three, I need the last 8. Back to 8. Too many or one. And for the moment, I'm just going to make the player base and the enemy base be pretty. They're just going to. Staggering these lines a bit. Sure, if I do a drag select, will it properly select whatever? Oh, it did. Okay. Just afraid it might also select other things like. Oh well, that's fine. So yeah, they all look like. Okay. Base manager. Upload current valid location. And at the moment, it'll create a mission for every one of those. Too many missions. But it can pick any one of them and play any one of them, but they're all going to be the exact same thing, right? Oh, I also added a bit of code to. You'll notice that I have this left up, just I'm working on it, and in other episodes I kept turning this off. I just added a line of code to turn that off itself, just as I'm working on playing. It generated a line of code. Just sort of, I have that, when you replay what you said a few seconds later. I wrote a line of code. If I said that. Okay, so the home base manager at the moment is making. Oh, here is that code, by the way. You go context menu, give it a string. You just put that above a function. So the update valid locations. Here's the list of holomap locations that we We'll clear that list first. By the way, displaying that with a bool took me writing a code editor. Custom inspector. A whole lot to it, but I had to copy paste from other ones I'd made before, and those were copy pasted from other examples. And you have to get it right. You has to inherit it from editor. Thing has to be custom editor with the type of the script that it is. There are all these parts to it. But anyway, it wouldn't display if I hadn't written. It would just be nothing because Unity doesn't know how to display this class. For it from unobey. This is the class that I'm. I went down like 3 rabbit holes. Sorry. It steers that, and then for each location, for each child we had there, so all the black icons, for each child of that, of all the black ones. Go through them, make a new hollow map location, make the location equal to the child location, the black location, and then just add it to the list. So then we only have a list of locations. We don't have a load of game objects anymore. Thought I'd fix the camera. So. Off camera. Webcam's inconvenient because it doesn't pitch up and down very well. Okay. Alright, so it's actually on Awake in the Base Manager that we're making a new mission for each. So we don't want to make each. I also don't want to just do it this arbitrarily, but for now. I'm gonna pick either 1 or 2 missions, so you have to go random range 3. For int I equals 0, I is less than the number of missions, plus brackets. Oh, no. I don't want to get rid of that until I don't need it anymore. New mission location equals Scriptable Object script color map location. One of them. 0 to the count of that. So it could be any one of because that's not actually a place, dot location. So I have to rewrite that a little as well. I have to store that into okay, so I'm gonna sort of pick a number but without actually picking the item yet. While map item int so while the one we just picked, here we didn't actually pick it, but we made a number that represents that one. Here we're going to pick it, but say that if it's occupied, then we're going to pick a new one while the one we picked is occupied, we're going to have to pick a new one. As long as we never have more as long as we don't want more missions than there are available places to put those missions. Actually, I'm going to put in a line that prevents this from crashing. Amp it between 0 and that layer S of that location. Writing that wrong. Write this, you have to go. What you're clamping first. Clamping the num mission value between 0 and the total amount -1. I suppose we could technically, like, just if I've gone and erased them all one day and I only have 2 places and I want to generate 3 missions. Or 2. Yeah. So that should prevent this while loop from ever crashing. I'm going to have to set them all to not occupied as well each new time. Actually, I won't first, and then we'll... Remind me to do that. Because otherwise, after a few playthroughs, I'll wind up with no available mission places. And then the while loop will crash it. Set it to occupied after we've picked it successfully. Set it to occupied. This part, I think I can get rid of some of it. And still be, so this instantiates the mission prefab as a child of the location holder. False is about keeping its world position or not. Then I set the position to and I just create brackets. Okay. So even though it's not a function, I can bracket. So I want to take this whole section out somewhere later. Actually, just make it more interesting. Let's say instead of number of missions being 30, and even if I don't have 30 places, I think I have more than 30 places, but even if I don't, it'll clamp it down. Actually, let's just say 3,000. Because it should clamp it down and not crash. However, let me save the scene right now. And the project, I think saving the project might be the only way to be sure that I save these locations. Otherwise I'd have to put all the black stuff back if we actually crashed. Black icons I'd have to manually. Okay. Got every location. They're all occupied. Okay. So, yeah, I can't have too many, that's okay. If it is 0, the mission is being created, be no location. That way it won't. That way I'll know if I've actually accidentally forgotten to have locations or I've cleared this list but didn't realize. I don't want it to be that many. Get one and really check off a few. So you'll find that it's only going to pick 1 or 2 of the first few of these locations now. So they were all over the left. Unless it does it upside down maybe and they're on the right. Yeah, so it picked 2 of the ones on the left side, these 2, and they're now occupied. Those are 2 valid missions, I can play them. come back, and when I load back in, it's going to pick one or two more on that list, but it won't be. It'll be a different one or two. Or while loop crash. Already did it for crashing. Also, I just ran it. This manager. When the game freezes, it's probably a while loop. Oh, I know what I did. I did crash it. I didn't write the code correctly. So I'll delete that. I saved this. So, essentially, if the one it picked was occupied, this should be inside the bracket. Because if it is occupied, I think it has been. Picking a new int while the new one's occupied. Pick a new one. Okay. Loop. So presumably there it would have picked something like not anymore. Would have picked something like, remember all of those were occupied. Would have picked one of those. Then number would have been one of the occupied ones. It is occupied. We're changing the integer. Looking at could have been okay. And in fact it was okay. Was the breakpoint. Filing. Here. Doesn't seem to be continuing on. Back up here. Fall into the code block. Keeps. Oh, it did eventually. Seem to be stuck here though. Okay. A large number that I save. Oh, 1 in 30. Stop the code. It should be between 1 and 3, so it shouldn't be happening loads of times. Oh, that's why it went 30 times. Or felt like it was. Alright, let's try that again. Still going to be a lot of these occupied, and it shouldn't be able to pick them anymore. But it might mean that it goes through the while loop once or twice, because some of them, it might pick the one that's over here. Here. Came right through and made 1 or 2 missions. Stop. Anyway, you can see why I should. Sorry, why I should set them all to not occupied. Set them all to not occupied at the start. One of them's occupied. What went wrong when we went into a mission and crash again? Still doing that read pixels, but I commented it out. No crash this time. But if it crashes sometimes, that's. And the best way to test if it's crashing is to push it hard. But didn't. Oh yeah, probably just made 2 missions. I was going to say it didn't clear one, but yeah, 2. Fine. How do you clear all the breakpoints? Get out of debug mode. I just manually cleared them all. try break it. Not gonna put a breakpoint in. I'll have to click it 60 times. However many of these there are, I'll have to click it each time. See if it crashed the scene again, or if that just happened to be unrelated. It probably wasn't done. But if I can break it, I need to know how, and then stop breaking it. Not just say, ah, it's probably fine. If we're only doing 1 or 2 missions, it doesn't seem to break. It could sometime. And I'll never think of it again, probably. And that. Like I said, I feel that the code is correct. Capturing a screen. Oh, we are. I thought I commented that out. Now they're all occupied. They're all going to clear, but then they're all going to get. So the crash isn't to do with using all these up. It is about. One and 3 means pick 1 or 2. Doesn't include the highest number. Unless you're dealing with floats, but if you're dealing with integers, it ignores the highest number. Okay, so anyway, that's how we're gonna make just 1 or 2 missions. Make it more interesting, I'm gonna make it between 2 or 3 instead of 1. There's always some choice. Also, this isn't. There'll be more logic based on to play those missions. But for now, we're just going to create a new one every day that lasts 1 day. But other things like, actually what we'll do now is make an enemy base, so when the base is discovered, it stays here every day until you destroy it. Happy that that works. Oh, I forgot to fix this bug as well. I'm gonna record that bug anyway. In case it comes back. That's not where I recorded, but I put them elsewhere later. Okay. Right there, the microphone wasn't audio the level reader, the audio level was not showing up all on OBS, and I thought I'd done another time where I go 40 or 50 minutes without any audio. I think not the case. Just it wasn't displaying while I hadn't highlighted the window. That on OBS phrase. The users on it are all American, I think, and so the time I stream at doesn't tend to be good times for American for Irish workers. Me, so trading missions. Just say okay, something we've this done section. I used to have a done section. Now I'm going to put it up in the last time section. At the end of the episode, I just move what's done into last time. A list of all possible mission icon locations. There's a number of missions. Be a new thing. We've really done right now. Generate missions each. Save this. Done half that, but not the 8 of them. That's going to take a new type of saving information. Won't be too much info. It's just always a little slow and cautious. Might not do it on the stream because we've seen the save stuff and worry about what exactly we need to save and how to parse it. So I don't want to do too much of this so far as I can help. Let's get about building a the icons I have. I don't have great icon. No, I know which one it's meant to be, but it's a bit specific. Okay. You know, an icon for the base. It's meant to be this icon here for enemy fighter factory. Sort of makes sense because that's our only enemy at the moment. Kind of specific to that enemy type. There will be other meant to be the main base, supplies, air facility. The fact that we have them in gold as well is in case there are friendly versions of defend a supply facility. But we also have the modifiers on attack and defend icons. So instead of going gold, it might gold versus blue might just go attack versus defend on the same icon. I guess it shouldn't be gold or blue in that. To me, this implies more like a patrol of, but we use it most as he labeled them. The standard patrol is meant to be this one. Really imply patrolling, or like a scanning facility, listening station, that kind of thing, which is in the design. So I don't have appropriate icons for everything. I could use this generic one. Use the generic blank for everything. This for the factory. Just fab. Change the default icon that it's carrying. Do the scriptable object for icons. So we're probably going to add icons to this. So when you have a scriptable object, it'll, and you create one, you also need another script to create scriptable objects, but I can pick any of these scripts and make a new one, make a new icons one. And it can hold different stuff. So what I did with the appearances for male and female, it's the same scriptable object, but one for groups of male mouths and one for female. With icons, it can be the same one. But I need to add ones to it, but thankfully it's as simple as adding on the original script more places to hold. Let's get it here. Hello map. Don't need many right now. Hey Teen Station, how are you? Welcome back. I looked at this again. I saw your second message pop up, but not your first one. A little far outside my view to see the comments on the second screen because it's kind of looking that way and it's about 90 degrees that way. But I looked at the comments at about 15:55 and then, or 15:49, and then comments at 15:50. Factory. I don't know if this is how I want to do it. For now, this is how we're going to do it. Not even going to add the others yet. Those will appear down here. Perfect, I clicked on exactly the right one. Blank. Factory blue will be factory yellow. I don't think I'm going to use it at all, but I have a list of icons. One of these scripts is going to have to hold a reference to scriptable object. I guess it can be the manager for them. It's the one generating the missions right now anyway. Scriptable. Drag that in up here. Return. Do turn off Slack while I'm streaming, but as I said, on Mondays is now the only day that artist is working, Fred, and working on this. So I always tend to get messages during the stream, and I might have to move the streaming day, though he said don't bother. So we'll see about that. There aren't a huge amount of people who tune in regularly, so I think they just tune when they get a notification, or because it is usually the same few people, I find. At least the ones who comment are the same few people. Okay. We're going to make a factory now. I have the icon for the factories. I guess one of the mission types will pick itself and show that it is a factory. Each mission generates a mission type, is and you can click on it and you can get in and do a mission, but right now they only have well, I have 3 different types that don't do anything right now. So this was designed more to set up the actual mission that you play, but same thing could also hold the info that goes on that hollow map. If it's a factory, you know, it'll generate a factory type of base in the mission for you to kill. But if it's a factory, the exact same line that says it's a factory can be the line that says that the hollow map reads. Let's It's a director that actually cares what type director script is. What this was set to. I'm not sure if it cares right now. Yes, right now it doesn't mean anything. But the default type is raid, actually. The default type should probably have been Someone's going to have to be a fighter factory. You can manually make a fighter factory every day, but the point is to make one, have you not know about it. So it's here, but it's invisible. That's the and when you do learn about it through doing a mission, it becomes visible and then it becomes a mission. But the whole time it's generating more fighters every day. Thing we're going to have to do is base manager when it does mission. I have to tell them to set the correct info. Or actually, I can just have it do that on awake. Start even. I had a few things highlighted. So I was creating mission types and tying them to this stuff. It wouldn't just know a location and occupied, but it would also know what type of mission it was, but it's not really the right place. Fine as it is. Day. Lifetime. Suppose it also needs a bool for whether it's completed or not. And its completion is, what I mean by that is whether it's finished with. Like if you do the mission, like if it is this enemy fighter factory, if you do that mission but don't kill the factory, then the mission isn't complete and it should stay. The default is 1. By default mission, so just last one. So at the end of a mission, we'll set the mission to complete, and that we're not saving missions right now, but we'll have to. If the mission is complete, we won't. So it won't appear again. So the fighter factory is actually only going to be generated when we generate the whole sector. Very first day of that sector. So when the other missions we generate will be things like patrols, responses and things. But factories and stuff set up day 1. Actually going to be probably campaign save and load. Doing that at the moment. No, I think it was. No, it's still here. Generating the campaign is actually going to be different from generating a save and load thing. be no code in here for the moment, but this is where it'll have to go, and here's a reminder. Even as we do these things, sort of leaving in the notes for what still needs to be done even as we go. So without having finished that code right now, we have a working sort of example, and it's reminding us as we play the example what still needs to be done. So I'm happy enough with that way of working for them. Okay. Global number with spider factor. I said the last day that I can easily just go +3 every day. That's dead easy. But we're doing more complex stuff. But realizing that I said we'd done the first half of this line, hadn't saved the state of them, but in doing this, I'm working towards saving it anyway. Have that line done with the factory done. The setup when it started was going the type of mission this is actually going to be that when we create the mission itself. Need to check what type of mission are and then let this handle itself in terms of picking the right icon. Spider factory. Factory blue. I find that Visual Studio is picking things that, again, things I don't want it to pick, that Mono developed didn't. It's annoying. At least set up the right say by default they are revealed. But when we're generating the factory and stuff, it'll be not revealed by default. But it's revealed. Do it the other way around. By default, they'll be it's gonna be in the wrong place, but I'm just gonna deliberately create one type. Of 5. If it's one of the get the mission set up. So turn that into a fighter factory. It's not revealed. Then I'll test that it is revealed after that. Yeah, that one, get rid of that one. So we have one mission, it would appear, but also fighter factory that isn't revealed. Got the right icon on it. Is revealed. Is revealed, and there's another mission. Okay. We're getting there. What I want to do is set that up at the this script where it makes more sense will be campaign manager. Okay. Oh, I know. layer SO. Bring this over. The thing that helped us generate all those locations. There's my reference to the campaign manager, and I'm going to tell it to generate the mission. Matters that it's the home base manager calling it, because the campaign manager persists through each scene, and I don't want to create new missions each scene or each wake time. I just want to create the missions for the moment each time I get into here, which means after a mission, starting a campaign. Those references public again, I guess, or make the public references. Everything's still working right. Got rid of the factory, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I got rid of the lines that actually created the factory. Just thought of something about. The mission setup scripts is going to have to know which location here is its one, so that if it's completed, it can set it to be available again, and that if it's persisting, it'll know to go back up in the right. That plug. Set it to -1 by default, because that'll always be wrong. If I do wind up with errors, I'll know why, because if I don't set it, it'll be 0, and 0 is actually correct. And I'll have things overwriting. the first place. So go about it because it won't say that it's wrong. Get the component. Map int equals call to the location int here, and I call it an item int. Doesn't really matter. Now it can know, but I'll really need to save this info before. Save it and load it really of use. What would be the way to do that? Because when we launch into a mission, basically when we leave the home base, put it in on disable here, or actually the launch mission. What I'd want to do really, I'm trying to keep all the saving and loading in the loading script. I think I'd want to persist the valid locations object, all the missions into the loading scene, program load. Then during the loading screen, check each mission child of it and update them for their expiry time is up, or if they are, then don't save their info, I guess. And otherwise, if they have more than one expiry day left, whatever, then only save the info of those ones. And when we get back to this scene, just load up the missions that are meant to persist, load them first, and generate you load up different ones first, so that they're in the right location. So then you know all the other, when you're generating the next mission, it can't get in the way of where the base should have loaded. If the base comes up here the first time, it should always be there until that is. All right, let me write that down a bit. Our left. Leaving home base. All these, this was our big task. Everything I write above it is actually helping, and everything I've tabbed in we've done. But easily kind of integrate. On the loading screen, allow each mission that's complete, expired, destroy. Actually, let's allow them to destroy. They're going to destroy anyway. Well, actually, they won't destroy anyway. Now the location soldier to something that's going to each mission filed. Save info only those fired. Complete. Loading back. Saves mission first. Generate new. Okay, that's actually fairly involved. Maybe we'll do that next day, but let me see. Still a little off track, increasing the global number with a factory. Back on track with that. Generate missions day and save. I've basically turned that line into. Okay, we did something, but we created 4 new. Of course, that's a very easy line. That's a very easy line. These two are a little more involved. Too bad either, but I think a full episode on them might be better. Anything about destroying the factory? Meant to. Yeah, that's going to be super basic. Have the factory mission. You can take the mission, and it just means going in and fighting fighters, and you can leave the mission. But it isn't complete unless you destroy fighter factory. But we don't have sprites for like an asteroid base factory. So I'm going to put in something. Anything appropriate in the. Assets. Asset pack. I don't know, could put this in. Obviously, a contrasting style. But put that in. Just give it some health. Allow it to be destroyed. And that would set the mission condition to is complete. Then when we go back to the loading screen, it'll basically not get saved. So we go back to the loading screen and it will no longer be generating +3 fighters. That's tiny. Oh, right, that's the reason that one's so big is I had once changed the import size on it. Reason? Well, I'm sure I had a reason at the time. I think of a good one. Okay, that's the actual size of it normally. A bit bigger. Anyway, that'll be our fighter factory for now. Better one. A lot of them are actually. Them all to 100. All on the same page. Frigates. Yeah, whatever. I'll use this. Not saving the scene, but I know what we'll do to put a fighter factory in the scene and build. Actually, I might just make it that it can't be killed with bullets. You can only kill it with missiles, but one missile will kill it. For the moment, you know, you can adjust health and stuff later, but we're just trying to get the code all working. Okay, 5 minutes. Add this validate code thing. Or not validate code. That icon. Just put it here because if type equals now I can put in I was going to make an integer there and call it like new fighters per day. But then I'm gonna have also repair facilities. And then I'd have to have a different integer for that. But on the other hand, the mission can only be of one type. So I can use the same, like repair facility could repair maybe more than one bit of damage per day or whatever. So if I said your special function, I'm gonna make it 2 fighters a day. But if it was a repair facility, I might want it to be like 13.5. But I could use the same. Be new fighters, repair points, intel points, etc. Whatever's appropriate for the type above. So our fighter factory. This will start every day because the loading screen is gonna destroy the mission. And so the home base is going to load back in new mission types every day if it's so it'll start only once. So that can be where I do its daily thing. So if you are a fighter factory, then campaign manager is fighters add around this because it can only be whole numbers, and since I've put in a float, it could be wrong. I don't want to have 23.5 fighters. Yeah, round to the nearest special day. Int, that's what I meant. And then when I do set up the repair facility and stuff, I'll just add a type for that. At the moment when we play, we're on day 6 with 97 fighters left. Generate. This is the part where we were. I is 1. Edit factory. Yeah. Visual Studio doesn't do great if you misspell it. Develop was better if you skipped letters. Not if you got them out of order, but if you skipped them, develop is. I can find a setting for this. It's probably here. Everything I've found that I wanted to do in Visual Studio except that. Special int per day. So a minute ago I said we're on 97, so I'll be able to. This will be revealed. Didn't set it to default. So this should read 99. I should be able to play the mission. No, didn't read 99. Where's that? I wonder if it did say 99 and then afterward loaded the old 97 value. Out. It is, then we're doing this to. Then it loaded after that. That's because getting called. Called on a wake of the home base manager. Setup should be there straight. Oh, I know why. Okay, so the mission does exist straight away, but disabled. Will I click on this because table itself, canvas itself is disabled? Here's mission. Spider Factory doing two new a day, but it's disabled right now until I turn. Now it's on at 99, but I think it's loading this info after that. Art. Presumably, test is coming second. Oh no, I want it to come second. Spiders. They are actually listed as 99. We just threw up the text. Really? Normally, whenever I want something that I generate not to wake up until I turn it on, it generates it as soon as I instantiate it. Having the opposite problem, but it always seems to give me a problem I don't want. If that makes sense. That's still. I had a bit of trouble getting stuff to line up. I instantiated. Going the wrong way around. Wondered if not parenting it would solve that problem. Or it. Well, instead of doing it on start, I do it on start. I could instead do it on awake. Because awake will be called even if it's inactive. I just did start because start gives it a little more time to all the relevant objects happen. Okay, there we go. 99 happening in the right order. If I go back out, or sorry, if I kill if I play a mission, I'll kill 3 fighters, go down to 96, but when I come back, it'll come back to up to 98. I have no idea. I can't remember what level these fighters are, but pretty good at dodging. Everyone's are by default assigned to empty mission. They're less good at dodging missiles. I knew he would dodge it because I said it. So that should be down to 96 now, but I go back out, it'll come back up to 98. Oh, it didn't generate any new missions. That's kind of why. And I'm not generating the missions in the place in the code where I really will generate. Do it elsewhere for the moment. The home base manager should have called it. Do that again. Because this scene will awake every time I go into it, no matter where I come from. I got rid of the Rex now, actually. But it didn't generate that mission. Straight out. Should be 100 then. Doesn't generate any missions, it won't be. No missions been created this time. Wait. Back in, it'll be 100. That's kind of okay now, but it's now what's wrong is home base manager isn't calling apps. So it won't print the number anymore. It'll print test now. And presumably when I go into a mission and come out, it'll print test again. Test. Second time. Bar gets in here. Instead of as well as. Might be that it didn't yet have the hollow map locations. Then it would have just skipped over generating missions. So if it prints test null, then I know. It'll have it the first time because that's why the missions were always generating. Too worried about that. Has it? Make any mission. Didn't number of missions I've seen already that's okay because I would have printed no missions being created if it was cos mission 0. So number of missions is going to be greater than 0 here. All bugs are strange until you figure them out. So I was about to say that's strange. 67 possible locations. Eating. Only got enough places to put missions. Number of missions. No return in here, so it should be. Also print the name of each one we make. This is exciting stuff. Gotta get it right though. Meant to have gone test 2 and created. It should create test 2 twice or test 3 times. Have 2 of these mission type clones. The number of enemy fighters again. Perhaps it's printing this, then clearing error that we. No, we were just clearing the load. We were doing earlier was just setting everything to not. So apparently it's creating 2 of them. I just don't know where they're going. Generating these 2. missions themselves should then be, or one of them at least should. Both be waking up. I have 2 or 3 wake ups and 1 print of. I have a lot of. We'll have test 2 or test 3 a couple of times. I have a couple of awakes. Should have 1, just a number of fighters I can't. Look up. I mean, all that happens before scene was loaded is called. Didn't. It's in the scene somewhere. It's not been parented. This second time it doesn't get. Maybe the parenting line failed. The rest is okay. I'm in on the. $13. Or, sorry, 108. So they are being created and doing their job. They're just not did correctly the second. Maybe awake is too early because the other thing I want to parent to doesn't exist yet. So. This would work. It worked on start to parent them, working fine because it later. But just that we're throwing up the text before we've added them. Could just update the text now. $108 fighters. This goes to 110. Get updated. don't really want to write this specific text in second place because we've got to remove it anyway. Got to make it more specific, more systemic. I don't know exactly what the word I'm after is. Oh, but we're out of time anyway. Alright, so let me just figure out how to display this text the way. Excuse me. After spiders each day. So I'll just sort that out. That's what we will have done last time. That is what we did today. Global number. I'm not happy to knock that off yet because I want it to be a factory that is saved. Although this is... Okay, we can... Yeah, actually do that. Because once this is done, that... Be able to destroy the factory though. So I might do this in between episodes. 3 days till Thursday. I kind of showed how we'll be able to destroy the factory. Might make that the next episode because it'll be a little change of pace, I guess. So if I get to save load stuff working in between episodes, destroying the factory next time might be go. Once that is in, I think got a lot more of this done. These are a bit of specifics in this that won't be this. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going. For watching today, we're still on the Square Enix Collective. If you so kind as to head there and vote yes. Feedback, that would be great. Oh, so see you Thursday at 8 p.m. my time.